Hello folks and welcome back to the channel. I'm Brian, also known as Always Play Blue, and this is my monthly recap video for October. As always with these videos, I'll be going through the stats for the month, the board gaming highlights that I've had, and also the top 5 plays that we've experienced in the month of October. So let's get straight to it. So the stats for this month look pretty good. I managed 82 plays over 46 games, 8 of which were new. We obviously didn't reach the heady heights of September where we set a new personal best of 115, I think it was. And a lot of that comes down to exhaustion from September. We didn't have a week off like we did in September. We played bigger games, like we had Twilight Imperium, we had Elder Scrolls, Betrayal of the Second Era. So, you know, that's a game that takes up a whole day all by itself. So there wasn't a lot of days where we just played big, sort of high numbers of games. But 82, I think, is still really, really good. I had an age index of 3. So we had, actually, I think, although the age index was 3, we had 6 games with 3 plays in them, which is quite good. Some of this also comes down to, I've started to take review copies now from some publishers, as well as being part of the UK Board Game Review Circle. So some of those games, you've got a smaller window to get the content out for them. So we are doing more back-to-back plays of these small box games that we're getting, which is really, really nice. So that's also, I think, going forward, going to at least bump up the age index on the monthly stats, if anything else. But yeah, 82 games played was a lot better. I thought after we completely exhausted ourselves in September that it would just be like, sick of games, let's just play one a day, no more. But 82 is pretty good. It's above average. So yeah, it was a really, really good month for gaming still. We had a games day with some friends over, which I'll talk about later. And there was something else I was doing that was keeping the games regular, which will come up as my most played game of the month. Again, I'll talk about later. But yeah, stats-wise, pretty happy with them. And yeah, we'll just carry that on into November. One big highlight of the month for me was finally getting to play my copy of Twilight Imperium that I brought 5 years ago. With the help of my brother-in-law and his friend, we ended up having a 4-player game on the 11th of October. I won't go into too much detail about it because there is another video on my channel which is me sort of reminiscing over that first play and giving my first impression thoughts. I will say that video has blown my socks off and gone, for me, insanely high on its views. I think I've hit 1,000 views on that now, which has blown my mind. And there's been some fantastic comments on the video as well from people all over who, a lot of them sound like quite experienced veterans of the game and they've just been really nice with their comments, really helpful with advice, and really happy that the experience for me was a positive one. So that's been great to see. But yeah, like I said, I won't go into too much detail. There is a whole other video which I'll link in the description below. But getting Twilight Imperium played was epic, and yeah, one of the highlights of the month. While I enjoyed October, my bank account did not, thanks to Gamefound running 2 insanely epic campaigns. First was Nemesis Games doing their expansion content and big box storage for Uprising: Last Curse of the Emperor. That is a game we absolutely adore. We've already got pretty much everything that's come out so far. I'm pointing over there, you can't see on camera, but trust me, the big boxes are over there. But this came with a true solo mode, the big box storage I mentioned, which is just a large box that's going to fill one of these Calyx units, and then it should make setup easier, especially when it's going to be right next to the table here. I'm not going to have to get boxes on the table, you know, lids off, take loads of stuff out to get to what I want. It's really going to help us. But obviously, big box storages like that are not cheap. If it was for any other game, I probably wouldn't go for it, but we really love Uprising. It's one of my favourite co-op games, and it's just different from anything else we have in the collection. But yeah, so we're going to get the true solo mode with that. There's a few upgrades, a couple that I missed out on last time I wasn't sure about, like the sort of 3D painted Chaos Tentacles. They look really nice. But yeah, that was I knew that campaign was coming, so I was braced for it, and it was just like there were certain things I couldn't buy or do because I knew I needed the money for this. And thankfully as well, Gamefound have had stretch pay for a while, and I've used it before on another campaign, but I'm definitely using it on this one. It just makes it a lot more manageable to handle that. And then a week after that campaign, Chip Theory decided to release their Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era expansion content with the 2 new regions, the Fur and Fang expansion, the Heroes of Tamriel, and there's a Daedric. There's a small box Daedric expansion as well. They too had a big box storage solution, much like the one they've done the Trove chest for Too Many Bones, and they've done the cloud storage for Cloudspire. And I'm undecided. So I backed all the expansion content for the game. I'm undecided on the storage solution yet. They did come up with a cheaper variant for players that aren't sure about buying the sort of the expensive version, with some extra sort of cardboard box in the same style as I think it's behind me somewhere, it's over there. Just some things to hold the all the booklets for the game, so that you can then use that extra space from the base game box to put the new content in. And that was much more affordable, so I've gone for that for now. But when the time comes, the pledge manager doesn't close till like late next year, I believe. So I'll see what position I'm in then if I want to add the big box. It's very tempting, but we'll see. But yeah, these two campaigns going sort of a week apart was a rare event. I wasn't keen on them happening so close together, but I couldn't resist. For two of my favourite games, I had to step up and take the hit on that one. But yeah, so Gamefound stole my wallet this month. God bless them. A month doesn't go by without us hosting some of our friends in our games room for a games day, and October was no exception. We had Thoughts of a Meeple and a husband to visit on a Saturday, and a lot of the time when we play with these guys, it's all about us bringing our favourite games that we've only ever played at 2-player, and we want to have the 4-player experience, both from our collection and from their collection. And this was exactly that. We had Star Wars Outer Rim, which me and my wife played a few times, really enjoyed, but we wanted to see what it was like at 4. The answer is it's a lot longer, but it's still absolutely amazing. They brought 5 Tribes, which is a game I've only played once, and they'd always wanted to try that higher, I believe. And that was a really fun experience. I really enjoyed that game. I want to play that a few more times to really get to grips with it. Then we played, I think we played Flip 7 while we were waiting for dinner to be ready. And then, then one of my favourite new games is Boon Lake. And me and my wife absolutely adore that game. We played like 3 times in the first 3 days we had it. But I've always wanted to know what the 4-player experience was like. And it's different enough that it's like a different game for 2-player to 4-player. With the fact how fast the board fills up, how many spaces are available on the board in the late game. Yeah, I would still, I think I prefer it at 2 going forward now, just because of the length of time it took. But it's not, it doesn't work better in either player count as far as I'm concerned. But it was nice to finally take that one off of him. It allowed me to do the review. I just felt like I needed to have that experience of at least a 4-player game of it before I could do my review. Yeah, so that was good as well. So that did go on a bit longer, and it did take us a bit later than we planned to. So sorry guys for that one, but thank you very much for persevering with that game. So yeah, that was a really good experience, just having that games day and getting those 4-player games in. Look forward to doing that again soon. And my final gaming highlight for October was my playthrough of Final Girl. I own Series 1 to 3, which you see above me there. And I played, so there's 16 features that I own, so 5 from each series, plus the Christmas special. And I played through all 16, starting on October 1st and ending on October 31st, 1 feature every other day. It worked out, it fit perfectly into the month. It's brilliant. I absolutely love the Final Girl. It's my favourite solo game. I love, it becomes a ritual of setting up the game and rereading the rules. This is a problem I had with the game, was that my win ratio was terrible. I won 4 out of the 16. I won 1 per series plus the Christmas one. So 25% win rate is, well, it's Final Girl. That's pretty good, I suppose. But I was watching a video that 3 Minute Board Game did. He's doing like a retrospective on the series, and he's done his series 1 video. And his challenge to himself was to play a feature until he's won it and then move on to the next. And I realized that when I play through, I always do it like this. I always play through all my content 1 feature at a time. But I'm always learning the rules fresh, and I'm kind of like almost new to the feature every time I do that. So I think going forward from now on, I'm definitely going to focus more on just picking a feature and enjoying it for a couple of plays, mix things up with the different Final Girls, maybe bring in some of the extras I've got in, especially in this box here. yeah, it's just, oh, I absolutely love playing it. There's not it's not it's a lot like the early Marvel films where sometimes when you rank them, certain features are lower down my list, but only because there's so many ones that are better. But the low ones aren't bad features. Um, yeah, it goes from experience to experience. You can have a really bad game in the future. The next time you play it, it'll be one of your highlights. I don't have a bad. Do I have a bad killer? Maybe some of the Series 3 stuff can get very. It's very. The rules are thicker. It's probably the best way to explain it. When you go from Hans, it was just Camp Happy Trails, and he's just a basic. There's no the set rules or like that. You come into like the Killer from Tomorrow, and you've got the rules for the shopping mall and how all that works with the walls and going over the railings, and the rules for the Savior. And then you've got on the Killer side, you've got the Hunter Mark 5 and the Hunter Mark 10, and how that works. Now you repair the Hunter Mark 5 and make it an ally, and it's just like crazy set of rules. So sometimes, and this is where I think replaying them regularly, one feature at a time will be a bit of a benefit. But yeah, Series 3 is definitely a lot heavier when it comes to rule sets, but I still don't have like I don't have any like features that I don't enjoy playing. That's why I like to play through it all. But yeah, it was just really fun for the month of October. It was Halloween month, just playing through all of the Final Girl series. I did miss out on playing the vignettes, and I've got a lot of the extras of Series 3, like Grandma's Revenge and Caroline's Revenge and Grandma's something or other, which I want to get stuck into as well. But I love Final Girl. You'll probably see it on my Instagram all the time. I'm going to be playing more and more of it, and I'm really, really looking forward to Van Ryder Games finishing off, because they're releasing Series 4 throughout this year. I'm really looking forward to that crowdfunding campaign when Series 4 box set goes live, so I can add it to my collection. I'm going to need to move some things around on this shelf above me to fit that on. But yes, that was probably my highlight, proper number one highlight of the month, Final Girl. As always with these videos, we end it with my top 5 plays of the month. Now, these are not games that are my most played. They're not games that are like my favourite games. These are just games that the plays that we had of them in October were just real highlights for various reasons. So we'll start with number 5, and that was Sleeping Gods Distant Skies. Absolutely beautiful co-op game. We played the first Sleeping Gods, we played the Primeval Peril, and I've been wanting to get stuck into Distant Skies for a long time. And with the game room and the space and the ability to, if we got far enough into it, but we didn't want to pack it away, we could leave it, just meant it was a good time to finally get stuck in as we're working through, especially because we're working through our 52x1 challenge this year, which is our trying to get as many new games off our shelves as possible. But yeah, it's got the improvement to combat over the original Sleeping Gods. Primeval Peril used the new combat, and we really, really liked it. Instead of moving a boat around to take your crew around to different islands, you've got a smaller crew, and they are represented on the sort of the play map, which is a spiral-bound booklet. They're represented by Claire, the sort of leader, and the shared character that all the players are able to utilize. So we had 2 characters each, and we share Claire. But this time, instead of a boat, you have a plane, but you don't move around on the plane in the same way as you did with the boat in the first game. The plane, you have to either get to the space where the plane has been left, on the landing strip, and then you can then fly to different regions around all the maps. Or if you've got the pilot card as one of your sort of ability cards, you play him, and wherever he is, he then comes to you. So it gets really interesting, because like before, you were just always on the boat and going from A to B to C and whatever. But here you can kind of you get to this point of like not wanting to stray too far from the plane, because you don't know where the next landing strip is to be able to call him, and it means you have to go back through. And there's areas of the map that are just sort of treacherous, and you will just take damage. You can't. And there are some cards that can negate it. You can have like equipment that will stop you from getting frostbite and stuff. But I think there's 3 different types of treachery as you go through the map, and sometimes it's just like, I'm just crossing this space. There's nothing for me to stop here for. I want to get to the one beyond it. I'll take some damage. Yeah, we played for about 4-5 hours. We have packed it away, but we want to get back to it because we still haven't finished our campaign of that one yet. But yeah, absolutely really enjoying Sleeping Gods Distant Skies. Next up, number 4 was or is a game called Take Time. This was a review copy sent to me by Asmodee, a game I'd not heard anything about. It was, I think it was announced behind closed doors at UK Game Expo. Yeah, I just saw co-op card game and I said, yeah, I'll take a look at that. And I'm so glad I did, because this is fast becoming one of my favourite co-op games of all time. So if you play games like The Mind or The Crew, where you have co-op card games where you're trying to accomplish a goal together with very limited communication, this is the same as that. You have a series of clock puzzles you're working through, and the clocks have 6 spokes on them. And the aim of the game is you can have 12 cards of the 24 card deck out with the players, and you have to get all 12 of your cards down. No empty slots of the 6 spokes around the clock, and the values have to start with the clock hand and going ascending. You have to have equal to or higher than the previous card, so you're working from the low numbers around the clock to the high numbers. But this is the total numbers of the cards in that spot. So you have 3 cards in a spot. It's the total that they make is what that number is for that spot. Absolutely amazing puzzle. These games have that sort of thing where a lot of the communication, because you can't talk and you can't signal, but a lot of the communication comes from how a player plays a card. Like if you play something quick, everyone thinks he's got that, he knows what he's doing, we'll leave that bit to him. Hesitation can also tell people a lot about things. There is the ability to play cards face up. You're limited to how many you can do, and failures of a puzzle will earn you more options to do that. But yeah, you can. Someone who plays a card face up just gives the puzzle a breather, lets everyone know, right, that's where we're at with this section. Now I can play my card because I know something about that spot that's useful. But yeah, we're absolutely loving it. Me and my wife have played the first 2 envelopes, so that's 8 clock faces, 8 puzzles. And last night we played. We started off with the first envelope again with our 2 friends. So we played a 4-player game. Very different because you don't have as many cards. So you only have, in a 4-player game, you only have 3 cards, and that's it. You're done. So sometimes if you're just stuck with low numbers, you become a hindrance to everything, because it doesn't matter where you play, you're not really helping the numbers get up. But yeah, just a very, very clever puzzle, and I cannot. There's about 40 to 50 puzzles in the box. I keep looking at it over there. So we've got loads to get through still, but absolutely really enjoying that game. Possibly one of my top 5 co-op games of all time. Let's see how it goes. After that, plays, I've already spoken about it, but Final Girl. It's my favourite solo game, and it's just always a pleasure to play through all the games behind me there. Yeah, I've already talked about it, so I won't go on too much, but yeah, just the ritual of every other day coming out here and setting up my player mats and getting all the deluxe components out and then rereading the rules. It's just always fun, and I'll probably try and do it again next year. There's more content out, so I'm going to be playing it a lot more than every other day. But yeah, Final Girl, fantastic. The number 2 on my top 5 plays is our 4-player game of Star Wars Outer Rim. It was a long game. I think it took just over 4 hours, but it made me crave a What If series from Disney, but What If Star Wars, because the combinations that all 4 of us had of main character, crew members, ships. So I ended up with Boba Fett piloting the Millennium Falcon, with Ahsoka Tano as my crewmate. It just blew my mind. And then my friend across from me had he had the Slave One Firefly. I can't remember what crew member he was. It's all getting away from me who had what, but it was just everyone. No one had the right characters with the right ships, and it made it so much fun. I didn't care. I did. Me and my friend across from me we were doing it absolutely abysmally, while our 2 wives were steaming ahead, and it was like going neck and neck with those 2. I did make a bit of a comeback, but I just didn't care. I started doing things in the game that were just cool, even though it would lose me the game. I was hunting a bounty that I had spotted early on in the game, forgot where they were, and ended up going around the entire board tracking them down, and came back to the last token right next to me. That's where I'd seen them. So I missed out on that bounty, but that would have been worth a good couple of fame points. But yeah, Outer Rim is a really, really good game, and I will continue to enjoy just playing 2-player with my wife. But that 4-player game, and what happened in it was absolutely amazing. And then my number one highlight game of the month was obviously Twilight Imperium. And again, I'm not going to go into it too much because I have done an entire video, which I'd love to drag you over to watch. So again, it's in the comments below. But yeah, there was a highlight, not just the game itself. It was a lot of fun. Silly things happened. We all learnt lessons of how we need to play Twilight Imperium better in the future, but also just getting to experience that game that is so well renowned in the hobby, and dusting off the copy that's been sat on my shelf for 5 years. All that coming together just made that an absolute highlight of the month. And not only am I glad that I've ticked it off my bucket list, but I'm very, very eager to take what we've learned from it and go back into it, hopefully at a higher play count as well. I'd like to make it a lot of people have their groups. They do this as a regular thing and play Twilight Imperium, like, the same group every year. And I would love to get to that stage because I think it's a game that really benefits from repeated plays, but also bring in that meta of the experience you've all had together before. But yeah, there's no way that Twilight Imperium couldn't have been my number one highlight of the month. Yeah. And that's the end of the video. That's my recap for October 2025. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you'd like to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with my recaps, my History of Board Games series, and any other content I put out, that'd be great. You can follow me on Instagram at alwaysplayblue, and I'm also over on the website alwaysplayblue.com, where I do monthly blogs and weekly reviews. But yes, until next time, enjoy the gaming, and I will see you in the next video.